I know one of the reasons why I started ProMazo was because I felt lost in like the whole career journey discovery process. It just seemed so overwhelming. I almost call it like the paradox of choice, where you have so much input coming at you at the university with very little guidance. And so I was just curious, maybe if you could even remember or what your thoughts are now for those students that do feel lost, when they're kind of choosing their first career path. Is there any advice you'd have for that particular type of student?
It is a big deal to kind of open yourself up to allow someone to know that you are lost, and that you're vulnerable because of that. And you could use a helping hand. You can't always rely on that. And that's one of the real challenges, as you discussed. Relying on learning on the job, you will not be qualified for the job you're hired. Your first job, you're not qualified for. Again, as I said, if you're a doctor and you've gotten your MD, you're qualified. But for most of us, we're not qualified to do anything. We may have some working experience, but it's tangential to our lives at that point. So I think you have to be humble in knowing that you're going to start at the beginning, and you have to go in and be open to learn, not challenge, but truly soak up what information you can, and try to make something work for you, not make somebody have that job working for you. It's just that connectivity has to be self-motivated.
I like that. My dad always used to say, you've got to, even if you don't know what you're doing, you've got to get in the game in order to start having any sort of impact on anything. So
exactly, but you can't pretend. You need to embrace your ignorance, and lead with your interest in learning and your eagerness to do whatever it takes for that person to view you as having the opportunity to be successful. You need to let them know I need to learn, but I want to learn, and I will do it in any way that you want me to do it. And constantly say, if you don't know where you are, I need help. If you do find something that is going your way, embrace it. That's all I can say. It's a journey.
I think that mindset probably allows you to come in as a learner, as opposed, and probably more humble than someone who's trying to constantly challenge and push.
Parents and their expectations for their kids, they don't want to see somebody graduating with a sociology degree or an English degree. It's like, what are you doing with the money that's been spent? And my feeling is, I don't think I could have been better prepared for the world than I was through my English degree. And I don't say that that's for everybody. It worked for me. But I think whatever it is that is your passion in school, it's the idea that you can learn something, that you're open to it, you can understand it, and that you can use the skills that are acquired, whether it's expressing yourself in a paper or a project, or whether it's just learning to communicate with your peers and your near peers and the people above you.
How did you think about, today there's this idea of career risk, right? And so, as an individual, how do you kind of go through that process of determining, okay, it's right for me to start this company, especially because I see this as a space. And like you said, you probably knew it was going to be a pretty hard haul in the beginning because no one really knew who you were.
So I think that you need to, and I don't mean this in a destructive way within a job, but you need to continue to build relationships in and outside of your job, whether that's with clients, whether it's with friends in other companies, the peers that you will meet through the working world. and continuously broaden your relationships and your network, so that when you find yourself hitting up against dead ends, there are productive paths that you can follow.
It kind of creates this push and pull where you're kind of actively connecting with people and thinking about that and being intentional. And again, like you said, it doesn't have to be, that is actually maybe even the goal of a friendship, right? Is to get some benefit out of it, not even,
Well,
so
that's
it
a very
is
fair
a
point.
transaction, but it doesn't have to be a bad transaction in a sense. So
No, I think that most friendships are tested when your expectations of somebody are not met. So in a way, all friendships are transactional. We all rely on our friends for something, and we're disappointed when we don't get it. How many friendships have you lost because in your moment of need, you found out you didn't have a true friend? Well, that meant you didn't have the transaction you thought you had wasn't there. Now we can put a judgment on that, but we don't need to. It's just a fact. My personal philosophy was always that, as I started talking to you about, social good, that your pathway was to provide somebody something that they needed in exchange for fair value. And I think that I probably lived that in a way that I found success doing that. So it wasn't unnatural for me to be looking at opportunities that really were providing benefit to whoever was affected by that enterprise. Figure out a way to do it where you deliver fair value to someone who needs that. And obviously the reason so many people need so many things is because they're not being provided for by many people in a fair exchange. That's an open opportunity. Find a way to deliver something in a fair exchange to somebody who doesn't have an opportunity to receive that.